Good afternoon. You're listening to the new WCEG Network on WCEGTalkRadio.com. Click your live stream tab or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube at WCEG Network. I'm Celeste Giordano, your show host, along with Sherita Herring, my co-host, and this is the Global Legacy and Wealth Building for the next hour. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio and at WCEG Network. And last but not least, our disclaimer, the topics and opinions are those of the show host and guest and not WCEG Network. And we thank you for your continued support. And I also want to congratulate Penny Rogers, the founder of WCEG Network, where we have now our live TV show on Roku, as well as Apple and many other stations that you can find us under with the WCEG network. So Penny, congratulations. And I believe this is your 8th year of your anniversary. So congratulations. And it is an honor and privilege to have this platform to come to the community and to talk about global legacy and wealth building and to bring the special guests that we do. And I'd like to start off with my co-host, Sherita Herring. And Sherita, it's always a pleasure to see your smiling face coming from Arkansas. You are the queen of nonprofits. And this is our season finale for this season right here before we go on hiatus for the summer. And I would love for you to share with the audience a little bit about yourself and who you are, please.
Well, first, I want to thank you, Celeste, for letting me co-host with you these shows. And it's been an honor, and happy birthday anniversary, that is, to Penny. My organization is the Philanthropy Alliance Foundation, and I wanted to put philanthropy in the name because most people, first of all, had never heard the word philanthropy, and most that are social entrepreneurs even don't even realize that they are also philanthropists. And so what I do is I help organizations and individuals make a difference in the world, which is philanthropy. We've developed over 600 organizations operating globally, raised over 30 million. I don't even know the exact amount. I always just say 30 million or more. And what I enjoy doing is, again, helping people to make a difference. So ladies, I'm so glad to be co-hosting with you today, and we can just move on to find out who they are and what they're doing.
Thank you so much, Sherita, and I appreciate that. We have Carol Dockum with Beautiful Faces Going Places with us, and this is not Carol's first time on the show with us over the last several years. Carol has always been an invited guest. Carol, it's such an honor and privilege to have you on the show, and just love what you're doing up in Westchester, Ohio, northern Cincinnati, and the surrounding areas, and the platform that you provide for women entrepreneurs. And so I would just love for you to share a little bit about yourself. Instead of me reading your bio, I would rather you just tell everybody about Carol Dockum and Beautiful Faces Going Places, please.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Celeste. And as Sherita mentioned, I want to say thank you so much for inviting me to be a guest on WCEG Talk Radio and building wealth and building a legacy wealth here. And congratulations to Penny on celebrating your anniversary. So, and the launch of your new WCEG Talk TV. How exciting. Yes, Celeste, thank you so much. As Celeste mentioned, I'm Carol Dockum, CEO and founder of Beautiful Faces Going Places Women's Success Network. And I just love creating new ways to market and promote women in business, small business owners and entrepreneurs, not just locally, nationally, but globally. I'm the founder of an online chamber of commerce to support women in business. So call me a little bit crazy, but about 7 or 8 years ago, I had this idea of creating an online chamber of commerce to support women in business, leveraging technology. And that was way before the days of Zoom, when I was actually in a chamber executive director of a local chamber of commerce here in Greater Cincinnati. I just had this, vision, this idea of creating an online version, and excited to announce this year we'll be celebrating 5 years. So if you have something that you'd like to create or start a new business, let me just say, just do it.
Absolutely, Carol. And I remember I met you 5 years ago, right when you had started Beautiful Faces Going Places, and met you at an eWomen network. And the rest is really history. I joined Beautiful Faces Going Places success team right away, was a guest speaker, and you have just done a phenomenal job. And I have loved watching you grow and how you've grown Beautiful Faces Going Places in your local community and internationally. So you have done a phenomenal job. So thank you so much for being with us. And I'm going to come back to you in a minute. We have our first time guest, Freda Kalina, with us, and she is the president of Beaufort Business Alliance. And I have been a part of Beaufort Business Alliance for many years and down in Beaufort, Georgia. And I would love, Freda, for you to tell our audience and our listeners a little bit about you and Beaufort Business Alliance, please.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here. Yes, well, I've been president of the Beaufort Business Alliance going on my 3rd year, and I took it over right after COVID. So we've really grown a lot. We've actually almost tripled in size. Besides that, what I do for a living is I'm a real estate agent, and I've also written a few books, real estate related, and just started a murder mystery series. But yeah, the Beaufort Business Alliance, we have grown, and we really try to help people in our community.
Absolutely. And you guys do a phenomenal job with your spring festivals and the Christmas festivals. I mean, and you give back to the community, you support nonprofits on a monthly basis or quarterly basis. And you have done a phenomenal job, Freda. I've watched since you've taken over 3 years ago. And as you said, you have tripled that membership there, and you have involved the community. And again, my hat's off to you for doing a phenomenal job with that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. So Sherita, are you ready? We're going to start with Carol Dockum and Beautiful Faces Going Places. And why don't you start us off with the first question, please?
Carol, how do you get how did you get started with Beautiful Faces and Going Places?
I think that's a great question. I do get that question asked to me often. How did you get started? How did you come up with this idea and the name and the concept? And as I mentioned, as a former Chamber of Commerce executive director, I absolutely loved everything that I did for the local business community, if you will. And it sounds like Freda and I have a very similar background, right? We're creating events and ways to market and promote our business owners and our members and drive traffic to our local communities. And I think the fun and exciting part for me was all of the marketing, right? And working behind the scenes. So I loved everything about it, creating value and membership benefits and value, right? And there are benefits to joining your local business alliance or your chambers of commerces. So, but having lived in Europe for about 13 years and traveled abroad, I've lived in London, Moscow, Rome, and Madrid, Spain. I really missed the international flair and travel and meeting new faces from around the globe, which is why I came up with Beautiful Faces Going Places. So that was my inspiration. And as I mentioned, when you welcomed me onto the show today, it really just boiled down to just do it.
Yes. I knew you had covered some of it with your intro, but I wanted to hear a little bit more since you had time to answer more thoroughly. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Sherita.
So I know, Carol, that you say that you've lived internationally. I mean, Madrid, London, Moscow, Rome. Any of them speak to you that were maybe your favorite?
I actually loved living in every place. I think I'm kind of known for saying you make your home wherever you go. And I absolutely loved living in every country. But I must say, my favorite was Rome, Italy. I absolutely loved living in Rome, the culture, the history. It truly is a majestic city. And of course, if you love fine wine and food, it is the best place to be, right? I know, Celeste, you have traveled to Rome and explored Italy yourself. And yes, I love the language and the history, the art. And the people are just so warm. So my favorite place, I think, would have to be Italy.
Italy. Well, so do you have any big takeaways from living abroad and any recommendations that you would give to someone considering living abroad?
Yes, my thoughts are really research. If you're considering living and working in another country, really understand and do the research on the background of the culture, and remind yourself that you are a guest in a host country. So really understand their culture, their traditions, their values. I think that's just so important, so that it makes your experience even more rewarding and exactly, just more rewarding, and you'll get so much value out of that and a greater appreciation for the experience, right? If you really understand the culture, the value, what's important in that country, right? And so that's my biggest takeaway, is to do your homework, right? Before you arrive and you land on new soil. I think that's so important. I think my biggest takeaway living abroad in all of these different countries is that at the end of the day, I believe that we all, as human beings, that we all value, or we want similar and the same things in life. And that is to be loved, appreciated, respected, valued, supported, acknowledged, to be seen, to be heard. I think we all want that, right? Whether it's within our own families, our communities, our work environments. I truly believe that is one of the biggest takeaways, is that we all want basically the same things.
That reminds me, it's wonderful first that you said for people to do their homework and learn about the culture prior to going. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie with what is beautiful, what is Pretty Lady?
Pretty Woman?
Eat, pray, and live.
Yes,
Eat, pray, and love. Eat, pray, love.
And
love,
she went
yes.
to all these different countries, and all the women
Yes.
were wanting the same thing. They were looking for love.
Yes.
They were wondering about, who they were dating. I mean, it was the exact same thing, but just in a different language. And so it's wonderful that you said that. And so tell me about the 4 pillars of the beautiful faces and going places.
Yes, I like to call it the 4 pillars, or the 4 legs of a table. And I think about what we've created here at Beautiful Faces Going Places Women's Success Network. It's like a 4 pillars, or 4 legs of a table, right? We are all about, and they're the foundation that gives us the strength, visibility, education, connections, and fun. If we're not having fun doing our life's work or our passion projects, then we shouldn't be doing it. So it's visibility, education, connections, and fun. Those 4 pillars gives us the strength and holds us the support system all together within our community. And I like to call it a table as well, because our table is always open. There's a seat for you at our table, if that makes sense. So
yes. Well, thank you for that.
Absolutely, Carol. You do a great job with those 4 pillars. We'd love to hear about your programs at Beautiful Faces Going Places, and what is it that you love most about what you do, and what do you have in the pipeline to support members in the communities at Beautiful Faces Going Places?
I think what I love most, it's called the afterglow, after an event. And you see the excitement and the energy in the room, whether it's online or in person after an event, that the magic happens during that time frame, right? So I think what I love the most is seeing that energy, the connections, the conversations, and the new friendships that are being built through our events. I think that's what I love the most, is just seeing smiling, beautiful faces connecting. And let's see, what do we do here, right? We create opportunities to market and promote our members and guests through event plans or planning. I'm trying to think of what virtual networking events and workshops and webinars, summits, and all kinds of good stuff online and in person. What's coming down the pipeline? We just launched our new mini masterclass series. So we invite experts that are speakers, trainers, coaches to share their expertise within a 30-minute segment, a mini masterclass. I always say you just never know who is looking for what you have to offer. So that is something new that we just launched. It's in the works, and it's exciting to see come to life. And then we just launched a new book review program. Instead of a book club, I thought, why not do a book review? And so far, we're having a lot of fun with that. We had Cheryl Greenfield launched it last week, and she actually did a lovely book review on The Untethered Soul, which was just amazing. So, and then next month, we have Chris Dyer. Chris Dyer will be doing a book review on The Go-Giver. So I truly believe that leaders are readers, and I'm not quite sure where I've heard that. It might have been from you, Celeste. Like you, I am a lifetime learner, and as entrepreneurs, we need to continuously be, learning, right? Learning and growing in personal growth and development, and not only in business knowledge, right?
Absolutely. And, one thing that I loved about Sherita, I loved about Carol Dockum's platform when I met her 5 years ago, as immediately I had met her in October. In November, she was having her first ever Success Summit. Is that correct, Carol?
That's right.
And so Carol has some memberships, Freda, just a FYI to you. She has a general membership, and then she has a success team membership. And these are the people that get to be the speakers, the people that get to be part of your lunch and learns and things of this nature. But I remember at that first Success Summit that you had like 75 women in a room. And my hat's off to you. And you had phenomenal speakers. And I was one of them. Deborah Daniel was one of them. You had several of them. And it was just an amazing all-day event from 8 o'clock in the morning. It went till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was like it ran like clockwork. You and Shannon did a phenomenal job with that. And I also love that with Beautiful Faces Going Places, you have opportunities for your success team members. Again, that's a different tier. You pay to play, right, Sherita? Right, Carol? You pay to play. That she would have during Zoom. During COVID, she had to go from being in person to being, via Zoom. And I remember the first Zoom that she had, I was her guest speaker, and I drove all the way up from Atlanta to Cincinnati to come in person, and everything shut down. And she says, we have to do this via Zoom. I was like, what the heck, Zoom? I had no idea, but it was phenomenal. And I did my first PowerPoint presentation and Zoom meeting. But you have taken that from that point to where every month she has, where it was Zoom during the COVID, and a lot of people like the Zoom thing, but she also has in person. And then she's added like a wind down Wednesday once a month where people come on an evening thing, sort of like what you do, Freda. You're going to talk about that, where they come. Then she has a lunch and learn once a month that meets on the third Wednesday of every month. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yes. And it's an in-person event now. And then success team members can do mini classes, as she says. So what a great platform, that she has to offer the community and the membership. And we have met people internationally, so many people internationally that you have brought to the table. And she's also hosted an International Women's Day 2 years in a row that was a live 24-hour Zoom model. So my hat's off to you for everything that you do. You don't leave one stone unturned for people to be a member of Beautiful Faces Going Places.
Well,
Well,
thank
I'm
you,
curious,
Celeste.
what are some of the subject matter with
Oh
all your
my-
different conferences?
Yes, Sherita, that's a great question. And as Celeste mentioned, we don't leave one stone unturned, right? So many different topics and subject. I mean, I think about myself as an entrepreneur. I don't know, I don't have all the answers, right? And we have to wear so many different hats, from marketing, sales, business strategy, social media, technology. I mean, the list, what finances and, QuickBooks and taxes, all of that information. There's just so much out there. It can be overwhelming. And when I designed Beautiful Faces Going Places, I thought, wow, I don't have all the answers, but what if I brought in the smart people that do have the answers?
Mhm.
And so, we touch upon all of the elements from Celeste has been an amazing speaker and a coach on the lead generation in sales. And so those are just some examples.
Okay.
Absolutely. Sherita, she has people in the health and wellness industry, the speaking industry. We have Kay Fittis within speaking. The list goes on and on with the different types of people that come in there. Image consulting, Deborah Englehart with
Yes, Deborah Englert with Healthy Hair, Healthy Body. You mentioned, image and personal branding with Deborah Fawaz.
yes.
Marisa Pasquarelli is an amazing TEDx and leadership and confidence coach. We have all different, mindset coaches with Chris Dyer and Cheryl Greenfield. So we touch base really on all of the topics that are relevant for women in business and small business owners and entrepreneurs, so that all the information is current, right? And one of the things I know I struggle with as an entrepreneur is keeping up with the changes and the pace, right?
Mhm.
And then we have the whole AI happening now, and so everything is happening and changing so quickly. We need to be on top of things on all of these subject matters.
Mhm, mhm. Well, now that leads me to my next question, because success is often defined as the ability to reach your goals in life. And so whatever those goals may be. So can you share a few success tips for our viewers?
Yes, my biggest success tip is, number one, just don't overthink it. Overthink it, because if we allow that overthinking, it stops us, right? It stops us in our tracks from moving forward. So overthinking, and really just step through that fear and just do it. As I mentioned earlier today, I thought about Celeste, when you said 5 years ago is when I launched Beautiful Faces Going Places with an all-day women's success summit. And it took me 2 years of researching, how am I going to create this international global company? Where do I begin? What do I do? How am I going to do this? The vision was so much bigger than myself. And I spent 2 years literally researching online, how to build an online business, a membership site, a portal, and et cetera, et cetera. And then finally, I just said, Carol, stop it, slap yourself. You are a former Chamber of Commerce executive director. You had a fabulous chamber. You grew it, over a 4-year period. You can do the same for your own company. And so I said, well, what do I need to do? What would you do if you were running your Chamber of Commerce? I said, you know what? Date, time, place, and create an event, an all-day women's success summit. I brought in the speakers, and the next thing you know, you're in motion, right? You're in movement. Brought in the speakers, created the agenda, the swag bags, the lunch, just like you would do, for your
Wait. I know that swag bags virtually.
No, this was 5 years ago, pre-COVID.
Oh,
Pre-COVID.
okay. I'm sorry, that's something new. I wanted to.
I do have some ideas for you on that, but it is possible. Yeah, so, the next thing you know, as Celeste said, we had, around 75 women in attendance, a fabulous day, great speakers, breakout sessions, lunch, swag. And we even had a red ribbon for a ribbon cutting and the big scissors and a photo op. And that was the launch of my company. That day was, I already had the LLC and everything set up, but I was stuck in my own thinking of how do I do this when I had to tell myself, check myself, you know what to do, just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Absolutely. And Sherita, what is so nice is that, during COVID, we had to go via Zoom, everything. And then coming out of COVID, people were still hesitant to get in person, meet in person. So she continued to make it, via Zoom. And then when she opened up with the in-person meetings, and then it went to hybrid. I don't think it was hybrid in the very beginning, was it, when we went back?
No, it wasn't. And I always say plan, do, review. And I really analyzed the marketplace. And I thought, wow, we have already tapped into leveraging technology. People around the world know how to click a link and join you online. Why throw that away? It's a gift, right? So then I said, well, all of our events moving forward will be hybrid events, and we can, whoever wants to join us around the world or nationally, right? They can join us at our Lunch and Learn networking events, and they can hear the speakers. And plus, I want to introduce them to our network, right? And give them some exposure, and they can share what's happening in their business as well. So, we're a hybrid. We do hybrid events now, and really leveraging technology, because that is the gift and the silver lining that took place as a result of our shutdown.
Okay, so when you're saying hybrid, you're saying that they can attend your live events virtually.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
So like tomorrow, she has her monthly Lunch and Learn, which is in person, and really it's hybrid. People can join online as well as in person. And so she has a 3-panel discussion tomorrow. And you want to share a little bit about that, Carol, for our listeners, please?
Yes, absolutely. We've invited our success team members. So we have Celeste Giordano consulting, and we'll have Maritza Coscarelli. She's a TEDx leadership and confidence coach. And we'll also have Tara McCafferty. She is the owner of SOFO solutions-based HR. So she's going to be sharing really summer boot camp for your business. Celeste, I believe you're going to dive into mindset and building a legacy business, and that mindset shift. And then Maritza's got 4 key elements to really keep moving forward through the lazy, hazy days of summer. So that's going to be our focus tomorrow. It's just going to be amazing. So our speakers will dive into us, share their success tips and strategies, and then we'll open up the Zoom room and our audience for Q&A and a discussion. So really excited about tomorrow. Thank you, Celeste.
Absolutely. Sherita, something that I want to share with you, and before we ask Carol to share how our audience can find her and can join tomorrow if they would like to for the hybrid event, is last year was the first year Carol Dockum and I had been talking, and I don't believe you'd done any community support prior to last year. Is that right, Carol?
No, you're it. And I know with your mentorship and your coaching and your passion for the women of community impact, the work that you do in servant leadership inspired me. And I said, there is no reason why we cannot be supporting your program.
Outstanding.
So last year, what we did, May is National Foster Child Month, which last week we had some great people, Sherita, you and I interviewed. And last year, Beautiful Faces Going Places, as well as Freda, we'll get to Beaufort Business Alliance. But up here in Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati, we donated 100 backpacks filled with personal hygiene items to foster children. We did 50 of them in Cincinnati, and we did 50 of them in Northern Kentucky. And so what Carol did. I mean, she just had loved what Women of Community Impact was doing, what we stood for, and we loved Carol and her model. And so we said, why don't we donate? I said, we have a donor that was buying our backpacks. Why don't we partner with Beautiful Faces Going Places, and through your networking, monthly networking, invite the women to bring the items that we needed to your networking. And then we did what's called a Wind Down Wednesday, or I should let Carol tell this story. Why don't you tell the story, Carol?
Oh my gosh, you're doing fabulous. So yes, it was just so much fun. We then had a Wind Down Wednesday event, and Celeste brought 100 backpacks, and we just filled them up. And it was just so much fun with all kinds of really cool products and things that foster kids need to take home with them, or when they're going home from home, right? So Celeste, it was an amazing event, amazing program, and we're excited to support it again this year. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And, Carol, since that was your first time and about foster children, what is some of the feedback that you got from your members? And we had first time guests that showed up to this Wind Down Wednesday, because they just had an outpouring of so many gifts to fill these backpacks. What was that? What was the room like? What was the feedback from the people in attendance?
You know what? I would have to say, based on my recollection, the energy in the room was just so high and heartwarming, if you will. I mean, I can feel the connections and the heart just filling up. Everyone's hearts just filling up, and just having fun in community and friendship and kinship of being together to fill these backpacks. And I could see the pride when some of the guests and attendees were arriving, and just bags filled with products,
yes,
right, to fill these backpacks. And they were just so proud.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Sherita.
Freda, you're there and you're waiting so patiently, but I know, being a woman, that something resonates with you in what Carol is speaking of, and just giving all these opportunities to women. What do you have to say about this?
Well, I mean, Beaufort Business Alliance, we do a lot of different things that we help with the community, where I really enjoy. I've been to one of the backpacks where we were stuffing backpacks with Celeste. That was last year at Linda's office, correct?
Correct.
And that was a lot of fun. The Beaufort Business Alliance is getting into more community events. Like, we're giving a scholarship to one graduate of Beaufort High School this year. We try to, we go out, but sometimes we try to keep it local too. And there's a nonprofit called Red, Blue, and You. I don't know if you've heard that, Celeste, but
No,
it's
I haven't.
Yes, it's first responders, and they do a huge event in November. And so we're going to be sponsoring that and helping to get the word out, because when I had a meeting with someone last week, he said the community doesn't really know. He said the red, white, and blue people, their families, they know, but we want more local people to come and get involved in that. So we have a lot of different things we're planning this year, and we have a nonprofit every 3 months at the Beaufort Business Alliance. So, and that's a different group every time. Right now, we have the Special Forces, and that is autistic children. So we have really enjoyed helping that, or just creating events. And last month we had Joshua's Voice, and that we held a special event at Manor Lake. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Celeste.
I am.
A beautiful assisted living place. So we played bingo, and we had lots of fun. And I really enjoy getting involved in all of that.
Good.
So, Sherita, in summing it up for our listeners, we're talking about networking and getting involved in some good quality networking where you can grow your business. Being a part of the community and being part of networking groups that do give back to the community is a huge plus in growing yourself and your business, as well as making a difference in your community. Mm-hmm. And so I know that we want to get on with Freda right here. And before we do that, Carol, would you just tell our listeners how they can get a hold of you, please? And I know that Penny has everything in the chat, so you can, click any of those links in there to get a hold of Carol.
Awesome. Yes, you can find me online, on LinkedIn, on social media. I'm everywhere because we need to be, right? In today's virtual world, you can connect with me at beautifulfacesgoingplaces.com or LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, let's get going into Freda here. And this is Freda's first time. And Freda, you're doing a great job today. So thank you so much for your time and joining us. We know you're very busy. What is the Beaufort Business Alliance and how long has it been around?
The Beaufort Business Alliance is like a local chamber, actually. We're smaller than the Gwinnett Chamber, but it's more intimate. I mean, it seems like everybody that meets, they try to get together outside of that and collaborate with each other and have certain events that, just help each other out. So I just really love it. I've been a part of it for maybe 6 or 7 years. And when I started going, I kept showing up too early. So I would show up when they were having their board meetings. And I'm like, I just sit down. I said, this is the Beaufort Business Alliance, right? And they're like, yeah, but we're having a board meeting. And finally, Linda Gober said, I think you ought to join. You ought to be on the board since you're here all the time. So I always make a joke about that. But I really have enjoyed being part of the Beaufort Business Alliance.
And you do have some phenomenal board members, yes. And in the past, as in the future right there.
Yes.
And we have thoroughly enjoyed Beaufort Business Alliance and everything that you do in giving back to the community.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Freda, how many meetings a month do you host?
So we have an after hours, that's the second Tuesday. And we always have that at fun places like the last 2 months, it was at a Cloudlands winery. And that's in Beaufort and most of it's outside. But I've been writing a murder mystery series. So I decided to have murder mystery at the winery. And that was fun. We actually did a little skit, some of the members and the owner of the winery. So we had a really good time doing that. And then next month, normally we have it on Tuesdays, but it's a Wednesday and we're going to have that at Top Golf. And then the third Tuesday of every month, we have it at Tannery Row and we have a breakfast and coffee. And that way, that's more time where every member can get up or new people can get up and just tell about themselves and their business.
Okay, now I'm in Arkansas, and so I'm not familiar with your area. Where is Beaufort? Is it close to Atlanta or where is it?
It's about probably about 45 minutes north of Atlanta. And have you ever heard of Lake Lanier?
No.
No. Okay.
Stone Mountain, and I've heard of Atlanta.
Okay. Well, it's northeast Atlanta. So yeah.
So Atlanta has a 285 that goes around Sherita, and then you have 85 north and 75 north. 75 goes toward Chattanooga, 85 goes through Greenville, South Carolina. So they're up 85 north. And as she said, about 45 minutes from the center of downtown Atlanta. Is that right, Freda?
That's right. You got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. And what I love about Beaufort Business Alliance is they are in person. So they do have a morning meeting where people, a lot of businesses can come and early in the morning. I think it starts at 8:30
a.m.
8 a.m.
Yes.
And then they have an evening and after hours, for those. And so it's just amazing the different things that they have. And they used to go around to some different businesses, but you're doing it strictly at Tannery Row now. Is that what it is?
Just for the breakfast, because they've been so good to us when COVID was going around, and I'm like, can we meet in here? And they were so nice to let us, because it's a big place. So yes, we could really spread out. And I mean, we've just kept it there because, like I said, Tannery Row has been great to us. They let us bring our own food in and, and they serve food, but not that early. So they'll open up for us. us. And so we've just really appreciated them. And then as far as the after hours, we have it. Sometimes we go outside of Beaufort. We try to keep it in Beaufort, but we try to keep it fun, you know, because we don't want to go to somewhere or everybody be bored, but we try to keep it fun, and we try to keep people wanting to join. Like this morning, we had almost 10 new people. And so I created a flyer with a QR code, because everybody would say, oh, how do I join? Oh, I couldn't find how to join. And this QR code will take them right to where they sign up and pay. And so we had 3 new members because of that this morning.
That's awesome.
So yeah, just, you know, just different things to keep it interesting. And we're starting to have more events like outside of the Beaufort Business Alliance, you know, things that help our nonprofits, or we have a damsel and defense come into my personal office at the end of May. And that's, you know, that's just different products like, you know, mace or a flashlight that, or something that can hit somebody, and just some training on that, because, you know, we all need to be safe today. So I'm looking forward to that. And, you know, even the guys, even though it's called damsel, the guys are saying, well, can we still come? And I'm like, of course, everybody's invited. So yeah, so it's fun. I enjoy it.
Now you said pay. What is the cost?
It's $99 a year. And that includes the 2 events, and the breakfast and coffee is free. And then we always have food at the after hours. Now, if it's at the winery, you know, everybody is on their own for buying wine or purchasing wine. But sometimes if we have it at different places, they'll provide wine. So I think that's well worth the cost.
Well, Sherita, also they over the years, they've had people that sponsor, right?
Yes.
That did sponsorships for the after hours or the mornings and things of this nature. And you know me as a business coach, you know, that is a great way if you're a business entrepreneur and wanting to get known in the community, you know, become a sponsor. Some people say, well, I can't afford to do that. It costs too much money. No, you can't afford not to sponsor an event, because that's the fastest path besides speaking that you're going to get your name and be recognized out there. And the more you show up as a sponsor, you're more likely to be asked to be a speaker.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Now, I see that your website is visitbeaufort.com. So that means that you also are encouraging or helping with tourism then, right?
Yes. And I get all kinds of calls. Hey, does a train stop there? Or I'll get people all the time calling me to ask me, you know, who do you recommend for this or whatever. And now we don't have any physical flyers or information, but I always tell them, you know, the chamber, Gwinnett Chamber has that. But yeah, I get all kinds of calls.
Now, you know, there's a grant for that.
No, I didn't. Oh
my gosh, there's so much money for tourism. And it sounds like both of you ladies are impacting that. And if you just do a Google search, go in Google and type in tourism, grants, and then put in your area.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I definitely will. Yes.
Okay. So what do you do for a living since BBA is a nonprofit?
Well, I have been a real estate agent for 40 years. I raised my 3 boys as a single mom, and 2 of them are real estate agents today. One's a hairstylist, but that's what I've done. I love helping people. I love helping them find houses. And then now for fun, I have written several books. I wrote one book on why I live with a felon, and Felon is my dog. And Felon was willed to me by my late fiance, who was a real estate attorney, and he passed away. We moved to the lake, Lanier, our dream. And 2 months after that, he was found, he had cancer and he died in 3 years. So I wrote that book just kind of a healing process, because it really was a tough time for me. And then I started a murder mystery series, and that kind of stems from my memoir over into murder mystery, just for fun. I love doing it. And so, yeah, I have no kids at home. I have a grandson. So I'm always working on something.
Wow, that is such a great name. And the dog's name is Felon.
Ellen.
Felon, and he acts like a felon. Yes. He wanted to get another, and it's a pit bull, mind you. He wanted to get another dog and named her Misdemeanor. And one pit bull in the family is enough, let me tell you.
How do you have time to real estate, run a network, a very successful networking group, and write books and things of this nature?
I don't know. It's crazy, but like I said, I love it. I have a passion for helping people. And then, the book, I wrote one book just recently, Sell Your Home with Confidence in Any Market. And of course, I put it on Amazon. I had like 80 people download it. And I'm mostly doing that as a lead generation. Lead generating, because, if somebody wants to sell their house, I'm like, hey, this book's on Amazon, but I'm going to give it to you free. So so that's just like, yeah. So there's always a reason. The only thing that I'm really doing for fun that I like is the murder mystery series. And you've met Barbara, my vice president, right, Celeste?
Yes, I have.
So she is so much fun. So she's having a birthday party in Palm Beach, and then I decided when I go to her birthday party, I'm going to write the second series, Murder at the Birthday Bash or something like that. So it's just fun, and Barbara and I have a lot of fun together too. So she's awesome.
Absolutely. So I know that you help a lot of nonprofits through Beaufort Business Alliance. And last year, as was our first year, Women in Community Impact for foster children. And we had 100 backpacks, and Beaufort Business Alliance had a ribbon cutting for Linda Gober of LDG Accounting Services. And we also, what we did is Beaufort Business Alliance helped contribute the personal hygiene items as well, where they had the ribbon cutting. Do you want to tell a little bit about that and how we stuffed the backpacks with that, please?
That was so much fun. Yes, we do ribbon cuttings for local businesses also. Sometimes we go outside of Beaufort. But yeah, that was great. We all came, and there was like several different rooms. You had the backpacks and everything. So we would just go through, and that was a lot of fun. And I think that everybody that was there that night really enjoyed that and felt, it's just a physical thing you can see that you're doing. And that just was a really great feeling to know that we were helping foster kids. And so, however we can help with that too, Celeste, we would love to.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk. Yeah. So that was a great feeling. I'd love doing that.
That's excellent. So when is your next meeting and festival?
Our next meeting is June the 14th. It's going to be at Top Golf. So there's going to be some golf involved. And then we have our next festival we have is December 2nd. We do the Beaufort Holiday Festival and Parade. So we have a lot of people come to the parade. We have people in the parade. I'm in the parade. And then as soon as the parade is over, everybody heads to the festival. And so it's a great time if you sell crafts or something like that. Me as a real estate agent, services, you just collect leads, but really people love it if you have things to sell, because then they buy their Christmas presents there. So it's a really fun and exciting time.
Okay.
So Sherita, I think you do 2 festivals a year. Is that correct? The spring and then the Christmas one. Is that right, Freda? Beaufort Business Alliance?
That's correct. So we just had the spring one.
They just had the spring one. And they have the booths. I don't know how many booths that you've had, but I've had a booth in there, and we have been in there before. And it's really amazing the amount of people. And they do it in downtown Beaufort, which they close this little community, this town off with the parade. They have Santa Claus in December. And then, like you say, all the vendors have a booth that they have where people with their families, moms and dads and children's and dogs, it's pet friendly and things of this nature. And a lot of them are doing their Christmas shopping then, or in the springtime, they're doing the shopping. It's a phenomenal event that you do both of those events twice a year.
Mm-hmm. How large is Beaufort?
The Beaufort Business Alliance or Beaufort itself?
I'm just wondering, is Beaufort a large town? Is it a small town? What?
I mean, you've got like the historic Beaufort that's really cool just to go downtown and all these old buildings and things. But then you have Mall of Georgia that's pretty huge. I think gosh, I did a video on it and I forget how many, but I mean, it's not large, but it's not small either. But it's just kind of a quaint little place and everybody's friendly and, everybody knows Beaufort. So, I mean, it's a fun place, I think. And then you've got Lake Lanier and you've got several restaurants on the lake that you can take your boat and go to each restaurant. So, I mean, it's just a fun place. I really love it.
So Sherita, I just Googled it for us, and Beaufort is a city in Gwinnett and Hall counties. And as of the 2020 census, it has approximately 17,144 people in the city.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an amazing little city, I think. I raised my kids, they didn't go to the city of Beaufort schools, but they went to North Gwinnett. And so the schools are pretty good. The Beaufort city schools are amazing. The high school is like a college campus. It's huge. And once a year, like they sponsor our event in November and they have tours. We get to tour the high school because it's that big. But anyway, it's just a fun place to live. I really enjoy it.
It's a very quaint town, most definitely.
It is. It is. Yeah.
So
I'm happy to be part of it.
Absolutely. So ladies, with everything that you've been doing, what would you like your audiences to know about networking and the importance or what it means to you? What is one takeaway that you want our listeners to take away about networking? Carol?
My biggest takeaway, I'd love for your listeners and your audience to take away is really it's about building relationships. And networking is more than just showing up and handing out business cards and collecting business cards. It's about really having conversations and asking that question, how can I help you? How can I serve you? What are you working on? And how can I serve, right? I think that's the takeaway I'd love for everyone to know. And that networking doesn't have to be scary, it's really getting up, dressing up, showing up and being of service to others and rinse and repeat. Just continually do it and think of it more of as a marketing strategy because it doesn't pay to be the world's best kept secret. People need to know who you are, what you do, and why you love what you do.
Very good. How about you, Freda?
Well, I agree with that. Barbara and I really try to have fun at our festivals. And you can see one person that's networking and reaching out to people, and you'll see somebody else that's like, oh, this didn't work because they're not engaging. You have to engage. And every festival I go to, I was at the car show, Beaufort Middle School this weekend is representing BBA. And I went up and I got everybody's, I don't care about giving them my card because they're probably going to throw it away. But I reached out to people and I'm telling you, I bring in constantly new members and new vendors and new sponsors from just going out and reaching out to people all the time. And so it's important. You've got to engage, and it is about the relationship. So
absolutely.
On those that you collect, a lot of times you will get all these cards or whatever, and it's important to follow up,
Yes.
Absolutely. You're so right, Sherita.
Yes.
Follow up is a good one. Is there anything else that you'd like to share on what you feel that people should take away from networking, especially from a nonprofit sector?
Well, in addition to following up, sometimes when people are at events or whatever, they will be afraid to approach someone. And the thing is don't be afraid to approach someone to talk about almost anything, but also be approachable. See, sometimes also if you're afraid to approach someone, maybe the look you have on your face or just you might have an appearance of having a disinterest. And so that will make someone not want to approach you. So be approachable. And even if you're somewhere where it's new and it seems like everybody knows each other except you, sometimes people will feel that way, or even at parties. Sometimes I'm like, what seems like everybody knows everybody, so they'll just stand back over in a corner. Go and stand by where everybody is going. Everybody's either going to where they're getting drinks or where they're getting food. So if nothing else, if you don't know what to talk about, if you're getting food, talk about what you're seeing as far as, have you tasted that before? And, and just be able to have something to talk about that will give you that inroad in case you're not comfortable in approaching people that you normally don't know. So,
and I agree with you, Sherita. A lot of times, people go to networking things and they come with the business cards, and we've already clarified it's not going and here's my business card and things of this nature. I teach my clients, do your homework before you go to a networking event. Get to know the people. Number one, who are your board members? Who's your president? Who is running this networking event you're going to? They should have a thing where maybe you have an event thing where you can click, you can see who's going to be in attendance. You can click those people and do a little bit about them, what kind of people they are, but get to know them a little bit. And I also recommend, and I'm going to say this, especially to Carol and to Freda, you're selling memberships and you're selling opportunity to people. It's opportunity, it's recognition. People have an opportunity to meet people, to grow their business. They have an opportunity to be recognized as a leader, the best kept secret. They also have an opportunity to make money by networking. But people that become members of networking groups, they don't know what they don't know. You have brand new people getting in networking, you have seasoned people. And I would recommend that networking groups have like an onboarding process where you have maybe a 30-minute seminar where you bring people in and you say, let me tell you the best way that you can get the most mileage out of this networking and your investment in our group. A lot of people don't know how to do an elevator talk. They don't, you say, give us your 30-second, or 60-second elevator, and they're talking about everything than other what they do. So I would recommend that, have an onboarding process teaching people how to do that. And then the other thing is to get involved as a sponsor. So many people are afraid to do that. And that would fall under the onboarding, Sherita, where they understand the benefits and why you want to sponsor, an event or have a vendor table. So I think that's huge. And because I think all of you each have opportunities for that, whether it be through your festivals, or whether it be, Carol, your monthly events, you have vendor tables. And for our audience and listeners out there, go to a networking event and show up, and you're not there to meet everybody, but, be able to have some real conversations with 3 people. And as Sherita said, the money is in the follow-up. You're not there to sell your product or service at that event. It's to build relationships, and then to follow up with have a cup of coffee or have a breakfast or a lunch. When I come to Cincinnati, Sherita, this morning, I was having breakfast with a member of Beautiful Faces Going Places this morning. I have another meeting on Friday. I'm making appointments to meet with people and have coffee and to build that relationship. And that's what we want to do. And that's what you want as presidents. You want your people to do that, right?
Yes, most definitely.
But are we doing an onboarding process to teach our people how they can maximize their value in your services?
So many people got out of practice in networking. COVID, when it just shut everything down,
Yes.
People had to almost learn how to come back out of their house again, and the other thing, ladies, is, and I was just on with some clients yesterday, it is amazing what the shutdown and how it has truly kind of put some people into a shell. It has affected people in so many ways as far as their mental wellness.
Yes.
Those that probably were pros at networking before, people have gone through some major changes over the past few years. And so, ladies, for both of you, since you have events that deal with bringing people together, it may be a really good thing to just talk about how people are feeling in coming back out into the world, and what can you do or offer to help people come out and it be a seamless way to get back out into the world and networking again. So
Absolutely,
I like
Sherita.
that.
You know, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. And that is a way, as Sherita said, is to give back and to care about your members and your future members, that you really want to make sure that they're exercising their rights and getting value for their investment.
mhm.
Well, we are at the top of the hour, a little bit over, and I just want to thank Freda for joining us here with Beaufort Business Alliance, and all of her information is in the chat. Also, Carol Dockum, thank you so much with being here, representing Beautiful Faces Going Places. Sherita, it's always a pleasure to have you here, and everything that you're doing in your community, especially in the nonprofit and the for-profit community, and looking forward to seeing some things this summer. This is our season finale before we go on summer hiatus here, and we will come back in August, I believe it is. But I also want to just give a big shout out to our founder, Penny Rogers, celebrating almost 8 years with WCEG. And now we're going to have WCEG live TV. She's got so many exciting things coming down the pipe for all of us. And when we come back in August, you guys better buckle your seatbelts, because we're going to be everywhere. Apple TV, Roku TV. We are going to be all there, giving back and serving our communities, and having amazing guests like Carol and Freda, and awesome people, co-hosts like Sherita. So thank you, ladies. Have a wonderful day. Have a safe Memorial holiday and a wonderful summer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.